Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, look who's rested. No, actually, I'm not rested, but I'll be more perky today. My allergies aren't as bad. Look, Patreon is bringing me to the table today. I was 100% not doing a video today, and then Rob Burden stepped up to the plate and knocked it out of the park. Rob, thank you so much for your Patreon donation. It's just a tip jar for this YouTube channel. But again, these people keep me here. I want to give a shout out to a few people. Brian, Sean, James, Plaid Klaus. I mean, there's so many. I'm just looking at the last few. And in particular, Rob. So, yeah. One thing I'm going to do as soon as I finish this deadline, I'm actually going to do a couple of videos just for the Patreon subscribers, so you guys can look forward to that. But all right, let's get to this video. I've only got 15 minutes. It's going to be a short one today, but what I thought I would do is I thought I would start chipping away at this. It seems like an interesting area because it's the figure. I think it's kind of more compelling than maybe some of the more inanimate objects. So let's do this. Hunt 102. I'm using kind of a mix of Eon Black Vortex ink and Ultra Draw right now. It's only because it's my work ink that I'm using. You know, I had pulled out that Eon ink, and it was working well, and so. But yeah, I'm not going to experiment with tools right now. Like I said, I don't have time. A Hunt 102 is fine. If it's working well, it's working well. These ones aren't as sharp as I would like, though. I will say that they don't get exactly the thinness of one. Sorry, there's like a little bit of paper on the end of this thing right now. Yeah, but I mean, I can just see that the tip isn't as pointy as I would normally like. It's so tricky, man, because you don't know what batch it's from. Like, is this a brand new batch of 102s, or is this from, 3 years ago? I mean, when you buy it online, you don't know how long they've been sitting around. And it's not that it's sitting around would affect the quality of it, but you don't know, like if I buy more even from the same person, I just don't know what I'm getting. Scott Williams offered to sell me a bunch of Hunt 102s that he has at his house, because he's, I think, mainly brush inking now, so I'm gonna take him up on that, which will be cool. And it's not that Scott gets better nibs. It sounds kind of funny, but I'm just saying it'll give me an opportunity to try a different batch, regardless of where I acquire them from. But yeah, so the other thing I would suggest up front is not only check out the Patreon page, I'll do a detailed photo of this afterwards, but check out my Instagram, because I've been posting daily updates of the work that I've been doing over Ed Bennis on Batman Deathstroke. So it's fun. People seem to be enjoying it. And today being Thursday, I'm doing some throwback posts, so trying to keep it entertaining, but yes, I thought I would do this. So what you've got here is he's indicating anatomy with like little darker areas, and again, Wrightson draws a lot with ink, so as much as it's a ink sort of heavy piece, you have to understand though that Bernie really, really understood form and how to draw. And so this is a culmination and combination of all that sort of being jammed into these just, high level illustrative pieces. But yeah, I woke up this morning and I saw that Rob had done a real generous donation. It was $11. It's a lot of money. I mean, and I appreciate it. So, and it's not that I don't appreciate the dollar ones too. It adds up big time. And it's affording me the opportunity to one, get more supplies that I'll be able to do spotlights on as we kind of move along. And it's not enough where I can justify like, oh, well, I don't need to work an hour today because I'm making so much money on Patreon. But you know what I mean? It's like I can throw up a 15-minute video if I'm making a little bit of extra money a month, because it's just, it sounds weird, but I mean, ultimately time is money when you're an artist. I've got stuff to do, a real tight deadline. So, But when the people are bringing it, you're like, all right, well, you know what? They're enjoying this. They appreciate it. It's like they give and then I give back. I already gave. You know, we're almost on 400 videos here. Is that insane or what? I'm telling you, we're at probably like 385, somewhere around there. So 400 is going to be pretty insane. And just other stuff going on. I had like some really, really good job offers over the last couple of days. And I'm already booked though for a while, so I had to pass on them, but can't really say what they were, but they were actually pretty cool. But I have 4 issues of Vampire Hunter D that I'm working on with Ryan Benjamin that I'd already committed to. It was a Kickstarter campaign that they did for this thing. It's a very interesting project, but I'll talk about that more later since we're doing a video. But and then also on the penciling front, I've got some interesting stuff going on. So we'll continue with drawing videos, but I may have to sort of make a slight U-turn. You'll see. It's all good stuff though, and I mean the channel's gonna be very, very active with not only cool inking videos but penciling videos. So yeah, I mean things are actually starting to like line up pretty good, and this is what I wanted. So the key for me would be to get penciling work and to be able to smoothly transition from inking to penciling and inking my own stuff. So when the opportunity is there, it's like I have to go for it. You know what I mean? Because those windows only open for a limited amount of time. The more that you say no, then the more the offers will kind of dry up because they assume that you're not into it. So it's time to take advantage of it. But yeah, it was crazy. Like I got a pretty cool offer in the morning for something, and I was like, I'm sorry, I have to turn it down. I'm too busy. And then later in the day, I got a job that I would have normally took in like 2 seconds. But you know, I'm pretty like responsible. So if I agree to something, I will stick to it. I think people know the story of I was actually pulled off Ryan Benjamin on Odyssey of the Amazons to ink John Romita Jr., which was the first time that I'd ever actually kind of been almost not forced, but they really, really wanted me to do it. So it was kind of like I kept going, you know, I already committed to this other book, and they're like, we'll set it up, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it. I was like, all right. But yeah, I think just professionally, if you agree to something, you know, you got to stick it out. You can't jump ship like that. So again, you see that I never did the edge on that. The edge is created by the line work that I did, and then ultimately by all this that will be hatched in black. So that went pretty fast, actually. It's kind of funny. And again, I've mentioned this in other videos. I'm not trying to do an exact replication of what Bernie put down in terms of the lines. It would just be too time consuming to work that slow. I could do it, but the video would end up taking really, really long time. We just don't have that. I can't spend that much time on inking demo because this is we're already spending a lot of time. So what I'm doing right now, the nib is sitting in my holder a little loose. So here's the holder, here's the pen nib. I'm actually going to put a little piece of tape. So this is a little hack that I do. Little tiny piece of tape, and I'll put it on the nib, and then I'm going to rip off all the excess. I just want the tiniest bit of tape. So I that's all that's on it. It's just that little spot there. But do you see that I used a bigger piece, ripped it off? And then now when I put this in the holder, it will, it's not the tape that makes it stick, it's just that little extra bit of width. Now it's snug as a bug in a rug. All right, do this. Yeah, I actually thought the last video was pretty good, although I'm telling you, I was like, I was so tired doing it, but I had 2 really, really hard pages in a row. I mean, I'm not even kidding, like, they were really, really detailed and like small detail. It was hard, not hard, but like just time consuming, and you like just took a lot of focus. I don't know if ultimately anything is harder or easier than anything else. It's just like I said, it's you have to have good follow through. I talk about it in my other videos, and people have been asking me about supplies and stuff like that. Like, I have videos on that, so just look at playlists, go check them out. I mean, I've done preparing for cons. You could see every single thing that I basically use. I don't have like too much weird stuff, although like I said, we're getting into, because of the some of the purchases that I've made recently, like I'll have some pretty interesting new things to share. And I will get into some digital stuff too, so don't, you know, I mean, we're kind of going way back doing this style, but I mean, it was sort of like the planets lined up to do this, so I thought it was interesting and something a little bit unique that I hadn't seen done. And nowadays, with everybody, you know, trying to get people's attention, I mean, you have to really kind of be creative with what you share socially, or you're just kind of, you know, like, I always like to be different. I don't, you know, I'm not saying that I am different, but it's like, if everybody's going left, I want to go right. Check out what's over there. It's just kind of my nature. But I always kind of circle back to things, and I sort of will all get into it sort of on my own terms. So I'm really kind of being conscious of where Bernie is like starting and stopping the lines. Again, it may read a bit dark on my camera. As soon as I hit record, one thing my camera does is it zooms in a tiny bit and it gets a little darker than the preview image. But just looking at the viewfinder right now, it's definitely darker than what I see in person. These lines are pretty thin and pretty accurate to what Bernie's doing. Actually, even some are a little bit thinner than his. So, but I notice when I watch it back, sometimes it looks a little more heavy-handed than it actually is. This is going to be a nice looking piece when it's done. Probably sell it, honestly, because I don't really need to keep it. So, then I'll put that money towards the channel, so. It's interesting, too. So I'm an invited guest for Comic-Con this year, and they want me to do a panel, and I did like an inking panel with Danny Mickey, Art T-Bear, Norm Ratman, Victor Olazaba. I think that was it. It was really, really fun, but you know, they want me to kind of come up with my own theme for it. Like, that was, I think Long Beach was having a panel about inking, but if I can pull it off, what I want to do is do an extension of the channel and maybe do a panel for Comic-Con. And I'll record it and I'll upload it to YouTube later. But kind of like breaking into comics and then also maintaining a professional career. So I wanted to try to find a couple of peers that have weathered some storms, you know, like I said, it's easy when you're having success. It's more challenging, you know, when you kind of like when you float a bit more. What I mean by that is, like, I mean, look. So my peer group is Jim Lee, J. Scott Campbell. Just we'll use those two as an example. Okay, kind of everything they do is win. All right, but you know, like if you're not them, then you know when you're 3 issues of Spider-Man are up, you might kind of sink down, and all of a sudden you're doing, you know, a 3rd-tier book, and it can really sort of test you. So, you know, and then obviously people are very, very curious about like how the heck to break in. So, you know, I've always, even to this day, I still make a study of it, and you know, I've talked about on like on DeviantArt, I would do different pages of work and just experiment with things and kind of see what it brought to the table, like, you know, without my name attached to it. If I posted a certain quality of work, like, did it still put, you know, butts in the seats or not? And it's I you know, it's interesting because I when I follow people on, you know, Instagram and stuff like that, I mean, I'm checking out what's going on for them too, you know, because I find it interesting to see someone who is trying to create a following, because you can learn a lot from that. You know, like, I'm trying to use, like, think of an example. Like, building up a following online can be slow, and some people do it really, really fast, and it's not always the quality of work. And I'm not talking about buying, you know, views and stuff like that, but it's pretty, you know, it's worth the study. So, you know, I thought that might be like an interesting. It's only an hour panel, so it's not like I don't have to fill too much time. And I figure I don't really want to do it just by myself. I think that'd be kind of boring. Creating fades here. These lines kind of each sort of sink into a darker. Flaming view, yeah. Again, I don't have a lot of patience to do these super duper slow for a video. It's like, you know, I feel like the clock is ticking, and me sitting and sculpting each one of these lines perfectly just really isn't going to benefit anyone. If you're going to do this on your own, like I said in the other video, you're going to want to take your time and make sure that stuff lines up, and, you know, the width of the lines that you originally created sort of work and stuff like that. And you know, just be aware that I know that I'm not following every exact thing that he does perfectly right now, because it would take too long. So we try to get the gist of it down, and to create the value, though. That's the key thing is. And again, as tempting as it is to block in edges, you don't want to do it with this style, because it won't work. And then ultimately what ends up happening is, like I said, all the detail ends up sort of like working in in a very harmonious way. You just have to believe in it. I don't mean it like that, like in what I'm saying is like there'll be times when you're working on the piece where it may look weird, or like, as long as you're doing everything and the values that you're creating are working, then it'll be all right. But if your values are off, meaning the thickness of the lines and the density of them, then it'll start to drift. So that's kind of what I'm most mindful of, is the thickness of the lines, and then how close they are together. It's a little tricky too, like I mentioned this in the other videos, is I have to look around the camera, because the camera is about 3 inches above the page, and it's in front of my face. So I'm kind of like, I squat my head down in a weird angle, and missing those lines. But yeah, it's not very comfortable to ink like how I've got the camera set up, which is why I don't do a ton of my published work this way right now, because it's just, I can't sacrifice quality on those pieces, you know. What that is, but I'll kind of put that in a little bit. soon as I finish this little area, I'm gonna stop. Ah, man, it sucks because these long lines are I need to be at a different angle, like meaning that the phone is in the way for me to do it the way that I would want to do it. Let's see. I'll try to do this way. Let's see if it works. It just sucks because I'm like, it's right where my head wants to be to have the best control. Because I want to do these really long lines, but I need to be like on top of it, and I can throw them no problem, but da na 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 na. Yeah, I hope that this not necessarily gives insight into what Wrightson does, because I don't know really what he did. This would only be speculation on my part, but at least you can appreciate the amount of work that it goes into these pieces, seeing it done in real time. You know, that it's no joke, man. Now I'm putting edges in, but they're edges that I see that he created. This little shadow here isn't though, but okay, I'm just gonna do this little section right here, and then I'm gonna call it. And again, I'm really not at a position I would normally throw these lines at because of the phone. It's a little sucks. I want to move the phone and just do them. God dang. Yeah, because it's because what it is I draw with my wrist, and it's a full sweeping motion. And I can't. I'm gonna have to do it out of frame. It's all I'm doing is just keeping my hand steady, but I don't want to fuck up the lines just for the freaking video, because it's like it's not anything different than you haven't seen me do before. I just need more full motion. What I'll do is I'll show you on lines that aren't these. So what I'm doing is I draw with my wrist, so it's just I'm going like this. There's no ink on the thing, but yeah, it's just it's like, again, I can't even do it with the phone in front of me where it is. It's like the cord thing, not cord, but the whole arm is like a quarter of an inch from my eye. Yeah, my nib is like, I need to clean it real fast. But anyway. So we got some more done. I want to thank my Patreon peeps. Boom, boom. I think this is looking really cool. I'm going to pull the phone out of the thing now. Check it out in a fuller view. I think Bernie would be proud of us. And we're celebrating his work. Go, Bernie. Go, Bernie. Go. The dude was amazing. Is amazing. This work will stand the test of time, no doubt. People will always revisit this. New artists will always discover his work. And we shall continue this quest the goal was never to finish this whole piece. So we'll do a few more bits and pieces of it, and then we'll probably call it. All right? Okay, smash the like. Patreon peeps, you rule. And I'll be back on Sunday for super fun Sunday. All right, check out my Instagram. And share these videos. Share with your mom or your dad. Say, Dad, look at this. Comics isn't all just wanking it. All right, bye.